Welcome back everybody. Today we are checking out the brand new Specialized Levo.
So Mick, the new Levo in a nutshell please.
Alright, well the Levo is now 29-inch wheels. Yeah, the move to 29-inch wheels from the smaller wheel diameter was a big surprise to us, considering that pretty much the majority of the e-bike world runs on the smaller wheel. Well, this is a 2.6 on 29.
You always kind of get that message with e-bikes that you need the really big fat tyres with the big volume for traction to make the most out of it. So it is really quite interesting to see Specialized going to a smaller volume tyre with a bigger diameter. So aside from the 29-inch wheels, any other really big differences between this bike and the old one?
150 mils of travel, front and back.
So anyone who's familiar with the very impressive looking new stump jumper is going to recognise a lot of similarities between the new Levo and the Stumpy.
That's right. One of the most pronounced feature is the sidearm, the way that the shock sits offside of the frame and the sort of side of the frame it curves around the shock. That is there for many reasons. That it enables the frame to be nice and low, and the cable routing can pass down through the sidearm. So the old model used to take the battery out to change the seat height.
Yeah,
and changing the brake line.
Oh my
was
goodness,
literally a nightmare. So.
Yeah, we had a complete nightmare trying to change the brakes over on the old Levo, pulling the motor out, bits and pieces just hanging everywhere. It looked like it had been disemboweled just to change the brake line over. So massive relief for home mechanics and shop mechanics alike too.
Coming across from the stump jumper also is a geometry adjustment. Via the bottom shock mount here, you can lift or lower the bottom bracket height to suit 29-inch or 650B wheels.
That's very cool, because the old Levo was also compatible with 27.5 plus or 2.9er wheels, but if you did stick 2.9er wheels in there, you had a much higher bottom bracket height. So with this one, if you want to stick smaller wheels in it, you can raise the bottom bracket up and get it riding how it should do, rather than sort of compromising. Where's the battery?
Where's the battery? The battery is now housed up inside the frame, inside the down tube, instead of mounting into the frame like the original one. So removing the battery is no trouble though. You just need to line it on its side or turn it upside down to get it out.
Okay.
And
it certainly looks good, and it looks really, really clean.
Well, yeah, it gives the frame a lot more rounded shape, and the down tube looks more like a normal mountain bike. On the S-Works model and Expert Carbon models, the battery is a 700 watt-hour battery, which 40% more range over the outgoing 500 watt-hour battery. So it's an increase in weight, carrying more battery, but the bike overall is 1 kilo lighter.
Wow. Okay. So this one weighs what?
21.5-ish.
And our old Levo is 22.5.
Yeah.
Okay. Where have the weight savings been made then?
Primarily in the motor.
Okay.
The way the motor mounts into the frame and the frame itself. 400 grams lighter, and then they're claiming about an 800 gram saving over the whole sort of motor system in integrating into the frame.
So what are the what's the disco on the top tube all about?
That is the control unit.
So you've still got your adjuster on the bars as well?
That's right. You've got your power mode adjustment and walk mode, which now works far more instantly than before.
Look at it go.
So you don't have to carry your bike up steep inclines. You just press this button and it walks up there for you.
Just looking at this bike, it does appear to me the geometry is quite different to the old Levo. Instantly you can see the stem is much shorter. The old Levo that we've got has a 60mm stem on it, which was the stock stem. This is a 40 by the looks of it. So you'd assume then that the reach is longer, and you'd have to assume too that to fit the 29-inch wheels in and still have room for a 2.6-inch
and 150 mils of travel.
And 150 mils of travel as well. You're going to have a longer wheelbase overall. But who knows until we run the Stanley tape measure, recently purchased from Bunnings. We're going to ride these two bikes back to back now, the old Levo and the new Levo. Mick's already ridden the new Levo a bit. I haven't had a chance to ride it, so it's going to be really interesting to see how they do compare. Yeah, let's get to it.
Yay, e-bikes!
Oh!
Not even tired.
I am. So we've just finished up a good 2 and a bit hour ride on a pair of Levos, the new one and the slightly older one. Our first impressions after a couple of hours on the bikes are definitely mixed. I mean, obviously compared the new bike with the old one.
It's funny, it's kind of frustrating the fact that we were talking about wheel sizes again.
Yeah.
Probably our least favourite topic, but it came into consideration a lot because, you know, we've been told and we've been accustomed to the fact that e-bikes are best suited with 275
plus,
or plus size smaller wheels.
Yep.
And then this one come along. So yeah, certainly it's a long bike, slack head angle and 29-inch wheels. That would traditionally mean it's going to be pretty kind of slow turning on the flatter terrain, and yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was for sure. So our ride today started out with single track, really classic kind of almost cross-country trails really, quite a few tight flat turns and the like, and it didn't take long for us to become a little bit frustrated with the new Levo in some regards. You know, with its big wheels and a long front centre, it felt like a bit more hard work than the old one. We could tuck into the turns a little bit tighter on the smaller wheel bike.
Lay it over a bit easier.
Half an hour in, we started to get used to the way this thing handled, and it stopped being such an issue. I feel anyhow.
Yeah, riding over the front end a bit more.
Yeah,
a bit more aggressive with your position, like you would in a normal 29er.
Yep.
Yeah, ride over the handlebars, push down in the fork a bit more. Trust that front end.
Yeah, let that rear wheel do its thing. The second half of the ride, however, took us to pretty different kinds of terrain.
Yeah, straight away. Like following you on this bike, it looked like you're on a downer bike. Just the way that the bike was a lot more stable, straight ahead, rock gardens. You know, the suspension seemed to be working a lot more overtime than on the older one.
100%.
And the bigger diameter wheels just tend to just plow straight through everything.
It really
and there you go, you're back on the 29er topic.
Yeah, there we are. So true. It did feel superb once you started going fast in a straight line in rocky terrain on that kind of classic chundery rock stuff that we do ride quite a lot of when we take our test bikes out. We took the tape measure to it, sort of get our head around the realities of it versus our perceptions of it. Sure enough, it is longer in the front end. It's about 25 mils longer, a little bit longer than that in the front end. Surprisingly, however, the rear end, despite the increase in travel, is practically exactly the same length.
About 2 mils.
Yeah, so there's not
2 or 3 mils longer in the chainstay.
Yeah.
Considering its increase in travel and wheel size, that's pretty impressive.
The extra travel was really noticeable, and not just the amount of travel, but the quality of the travel too. I feel compared to the older Levo, this thing felt lively, supported, and smooth. One thing I found in the past with a lot of e-bikes is that it's really hard to lift the front wheel. So I've always tended to prefer e-bikes like the Merida that I've been riding that are quite short in the rear end, and I've been quite critical of bikes like the Trek Powerfly, which is super duper long in the rear end, although very stable. I was genuinely surprised with the Specialized though, how easy it was to get that front end up, considering the chainstays are 460 mils long. It speaks to a really good balance between the head angle and the overall wheelbase of the bike and the length of the front centre versus the rear end, all that sort of stuff. It just seems to be surprisingly easy to get that front end up and chuck it around the trail for a long bike.
And on the steep climbs, I got up a seriously steep pinch with the length of the front end as well. It just doesn't lift up and kind of flop around. I think they've got a nice balance between agility and climbing sort of balance. Jumping between the two bikes, I felt more torque in the motor. Like you could feel the power was increased, even though it's the same output power. It's just a bit more direct through the new chassis in the frame, and you're feeling like you're going quicker out of the turns.
I'm also really enamoured with the way that this bike looks and the way that everything is so nicely integrated. Obviously from the big things like the battery all the way through to the speed sensor, which is run off the little magnet on the brake rotor rather than on the spokes too. Just small stuff like that is really, really cool, and helps justify the seriously expensive price tag. It does seem to me like that price increase that we've seen this year pushes these Levos up into definitely the upper echelon of e-bikes for sure. And with more competition out now, it's a big call for Specialized to bump their prices up, but it is a bloody nice bike.
This expert carbon model will stay with us at Flow for a little while. We're going to put it on a long-term test. You'll see more of it.
We'll be retiring this one here.
See you, buddy.
If anyone wants to come by the Terry Hills Tavern, I'm going to be selling it off about